Another thing that I think is really useful is some way of being able to listen to voicemail messages or get them without having to actually listen to them. Because listening to them takes time. That's one problem. Number two, a lot of times you're just going to want the information that is in that voicemail message, and the best thing is to have a transcript of it. Another problem that happens is, let's say you're in a meeting and you know that somebody's going to give you a voicemail message, you want to know what it is, but you're not, it's kind of rude to pick your phone up and listen to your voicemail message. So there's a service called Phone Tag, which for $10 a month, and I know to some people that may sound like a lot of money, at least the lawyers I talk to are very cheap and they don't spend $10. But you can try it for free for 30 days, and I guarantee you, after you try it, you'll use it. This is one of those programs that when somebody told me about it, I said, that sounds good, I'll try it. And then after 30 days, I kept it, and I've never had to listen to a voicemail message again. It's even so good that it will transcribe messages left in Spanish, and I'm sure in French. But people have left me messages in Spanish because I speak Spanish, and perfect transcript. In fact, actually, the Spanish transcription is better than English because Spanish is easier to spell. This is a smartphone contact tip from Andy Atkins, who's was head of the American Bar Association Technology program. And this is a simple little thing that makes a lot of sense. And that is, store the names even of people you don't like or want to talk to, because that way when they call you, you know it's them and you won't answer them. This is a service called Copy to Contact, and this is when people email you, and let's say they say, we're going to meet on this date, and you've never talked to them before, and here's all the contact information. And you want to take that contact information that they have very nicely put at the end of their email as part of their signature, or maybe the date that they're referencing. You want to populate Outlook with that information. This service, Copy to Contact, what it does is it lets you grab that information. They make it faster for you to copy and paste than if you have a Gmail or any of these things. So it works with one key press. Here's how it works. You highlight the stuff that you want to copy, press the button, and it automatically populates your contact feed. Same thing with calendar appointments. So it's $39, which again, to the lawyers I talk to a lot of times seems like a lot of money, but if this saves you time and energy, it's totally worth it. And it integrates with Outlook, which I'm sure most of you guys have. And this is a service that, again, a friend of mine said, you should try this out. They have a free trial for 30 days now. They're so popular, it's a 14-day free trial. And what happened was this. When I went out on my own, because I worked in a big law firm for a while, then I went out on my own because technology now lets me do the same thing I was doing at the big firm on my own for less money. One of the things that I didn't feel like I could afford, but would be nice to have, was a receptionist to answer my phone, because it's nice to have somebody answer the phone instead of you answering it yourself, or instead of it going to voicemail. The service Ruby Receptionist is based in Portland, Oregon. And what they do is they answer your phone. So you forward your main phone number to them, and for $219 per month, they give you 100 minutes of receptionist time, and they have different plans that go up from that. But the receptionist answers the phone, they take a message, or they do whatever they need to do. They email you, they send you the voicemail message if you need that. But of course, they will say, well, hold on a second, let me put you through to him. And I can be in my office, I can be on my cell phone, I can be wherever. I just email them and tell them which phones I want them to ring or where I am on a particular day, and they contact me. Now, the great thing about Ruby Receptionist, and this is the thing that I think is appealing to those of you that might need it. The law firm that I worked in before I went out on my own, they always had the best receptionist possible. They spent a lot of extra money to get the really good receptionist. But the problem is, if the receptionist gets sick, or has a vacation day, or if she gets up to go to the bathroom, or to take a lunch break, you no longer have the best receptionist service that you had, right? Ruby Receptionist, that's not the case. So it's actually a situation where I have a better receptionist in the sense of overall quality than the firm that I worked at. And all it cost me is $219 a month. I think that's pretty good. And they train these receptionists the way that the Navy trains the Navy SEALs. I mean, they obsess about how to talk to people. So you cannot find a better receptionist than Ruby. Another thing I think that's really important is that we gather information these days from non-traditional sources. Everybody knows what's in the Wall Street Journal, everybody reads various magazines, but I think now that you can get information from different places, you should. And people say, well, there's a lot of stupid people talking about their cats and so forth. Yeah, that's true. There have always been a lot of stupid people saying stupid things. The trick is to find the ones who are smart, well-informed, who are saying things you want to pay attention to. Scott Adams. How many people here know who Scott Adams is? Name, does Dilbert ring a bell? The cartoon Dilbert? If all you think of Scott Adams as is that guy who created Dilbert, you're missing out on what Scott Adams is all about. Yeah, he's got the Dilbert thing. He's making a lot of money doing that. Those of you that read the Wall Street Journal may occasionally see one of his articles in here and there because he's a really good writer. He thinks a lot about unusual solutions to common problems, and of course he's very funny. So his articles are sought after by the Wall Street Journal. But the very articles that he publishes in the Wall Street Journal frequently appear on his weblog. So I highly recommend you check out his weblog. He posts about one time a day. He'll miss a day here and there. But he's always making you think. And some of his ideas are kind of crazy, and he'll tell you that. But he's saying, look, here's some ideas to get the ball rolling. So I would recommend you check out his site. Another one worth checking out is Seth Godin. He is a marketing genius. Exactly. Thank you. And he's a marketing genius who understands the way to market today. Like he understood how to do it yesterday and before, but he knows how to do it today. Now his blog is great. He's got a lot of great information. He's got a lot of books that are worth checking out. What I recommend you do, and there aren't a lot of things that I would subscribe to in email form, but his is one where every day I want to get an email with his latest post. So I can go check out the blog, but I'd rather get the email because it reminds me in the beginning of the day to think about what he's talking about, because he gives you very short blurbs that are designed to get you focused on how you can communicate better and how you can get your message out to more people. And these days, I used to think as a lawyer, marketing didn't matter to me. We had clients, big institutional clients, it didn't matter. But it does. And it not only matters in terms of marketing, but what matters is in this world that we live in where there's so much information, people are paying attention to so many different things, those who can cut through all that informational clutter, that information overload, and say what they mean effectively, quickly, and interestingly, those people win. Seth Godin is one of those people. If you just read his email every day and think about how he says what he says, you can learn a lot. Now, I've tried to tell people over the years, you should go check out all these different sources of information, and the best way to do it is to get something called an RSS reader, which there's does anybody here use Google Reader? Anybody? Okay, a few people nodded their heads. Most people won't use Google Reader, so I'm not even going to try to convince you to use Google Reader. But what I think you can find interesting and useful and tailored to your needs is this site called Alltop. And Alltop is just this, it's a very well organized site, but you can set it up so that you can say, well, on my page, I want to get the Scott Adams feed, I want to get Seth Godin's feed, I want to get Tom Peters In Search of Excellence, remember him? His feed. Basically, anybody who's saying something interesting these days, who figured out that social media actually matters, is available through Alltop. So you can just go to one site, set it all up, and it's easy to configure. I highly recommend it.